Okay, this is the video for my hands-on project 2. As you can see here, currently is returning a 0, 0 from my input section here. And just to follow along with the circuit here, we have our 9-volt battery running into our power. This doesn't fit onto these boards, so I have to run it here. Over on this side, I'm connecting the positive to the positive, the negative to the negative, and then I just run that through, and run that through these boards so that they're all hooked up properly. Here at our input, we have our A1, A2, or A0, A1, A2, A3, and our B0, B1, B2, B3. These represent our two 4-digit binary numbers, except for because of how this is wired, it can only handle up to 9 for each of these inputs, so it's BCD actually. And just to test it, we can turn this one on, and when we look over here, it shows a 1. We can turn it to 1 plus 1. You can see over here, it's 2. And plus 2 more, 4. Plus 2 more, 6. Plus 4 more, 0 and 1, so 10. And if we take 1 away, it should be 9. And you can do that again. You can take 2 more away, and that should be 7. Except for sometimes it just keeps getting the charge, but that's 7, as you can see. And this works up until the highest possible value, which is 9 plus 9. Should be 18. Though out of curiosity, if you did add 9 plus 10, technically that should be possible to get a 19. And look at that. I was right, though I don't think it's supposed to be able to do that, because that's binary, not BCD. Alright, so let's look at how this circuit is actually flowing. So we have our 2 here, our B0 and A0 running here. These are grounded with 1K resistors, and then those two will run here into my 4-bit adder, and you can see A0, B0, A1, B0, B1, A2, B2, A3, B3, and that goes into my adder. I have grounded the C input, and I take the C output, and I'm going to run that first off into this, and this is just a bunch of NANDs and some NOTs. It's 4 NANDs being used because I need to check for if either of these, if this input here has a value greater than 9, then these NANDs are going to verify that with these NOTs and then add 6 to this full adder that takes the green input lines that come from this value. So the green lines here represent the original binary number that got added together, and then the white adds the additional 6 so that this will be a proper BCD output number. Now, this C output from this full adder and the C output from this full adder, because it got converted to BCD, will then become into an OR gate, and that will represent our tens place. Now, this isn't how you would normally want to do this, but since we're only checking up to 19 or 18, this is fine. Now our output here, we have our 4 BCD output values that are going to go into our decoder. This 7-segment decoder is actually a low output decoder, and normally you would just hook that up to this, with this hooked up to the power side, and there'd be no problems. However, this is not anode, it's cathode, so it needs to be hooked up to ground, and that being the case, these all need to be hooked up to the positive side. So I had to put in an inverter here, and I also use one of the inverters here so that all of my display points get inverted so that these can still reach ground. Yeah, and it took me a little while because originally I just tried to run these straight in and then run this to voltage, and this would not light up because obviously it's not anode, it's cathode. So that's how that works. And yep, that's my display. I can just add 8 or 4 plus 8 plus 1 plus another 1. Well, not plus 8. You can't have that high of a number. You can have that. That's fine. Though, you can see sometimes the charge here picks up, and so it has a bad display output for the bottom one. I tried rewiring these, but it still picks up charge, so I haven't found a solution for that. But that's my project.